テキサス州ダラスで開催されているウィンターミーティング。全チームの関係者が一堂に会するビッグイベントです。デーブ・ロバーツ監督が MLB ネットワークの番組に出演し、大谷選手が投手として戻ってくる来季のローテーションについてやワールドチャンピオンとなったポストシーズンについて、ソト選手の大型契約などについてコメントしていました。
You just revealed you had a media scrum just over there. Some news regarding Shohei Ohtani and his status pitching this year.
Oh, no, the question was asked, is he going to start in the Tokyo series? And my thought was it's just going to be too early of a ramp up, and there's an innings limit, a workload management part, so to think he's going to go wire to wire from Tokyo March through the end of October is hard to imagine.
Hey Dave, before we jump into reality of now, you got to turn the page and start focusing on this year. I always felt like the most magical baseball moments are the ones that are most personal. So when you look back at this, could you mind sharing with us like the ones that were most personal to you through this journey?
Oh my gosh, Dan.
Or the one that really stuck out?
I think the one that stood out the most, there's two, and I've never even talked about this, but I'll tell this publicly, which I can't believe I'm even saying this, is before Game 1 in the World Series, Kike Hernandez told me, after this series, you're going to the Hall of Fame. So that's something that just blew my mind, and I didn't even think about that, and he was doing this and saying that for me. And the other one was in Game 5, going out to the mound to put hands on Blake Trinan and look him in the eye and says that he's got enough to get Stanton, and me on the top step thinking, am I going to let him take that next hitter, get the next hitter, and then Freddie looking at me at first base going, just stay there, let Blake throw 60 pitches. And I listened to my first baseman and stood down, and Freddie made the right call.
Well, that's what you do. You could totally tell that you guys came together in a way and had some fire. I'm going to take you back one series or a couple series before that in the San Diego series. You guys backs against the wall, stuff's getting wild at Dodger Stadium. Manny throws that ball at the dugout. It seemed to me then and there, and then shortly after in the reaction of your team, something shifted in a way there, and you guys stood tall from there on out.
Jake, you're right, and I think that you guys that have followed the postseason and kind of my tenor, my tone, the theme of a street fight. And the Padres are a gritty, tough, talented group, and they like that dog mentality, and everyone knows it, and it's not an insult, and that's something that they feed off of. And for us, it was almost like we were methodical boxers, and we're used to boxing conventional through the 162. But when you get to the postseason, you got to take those gloves off and street fight. And that point right there, you can see the momentum. Once that happened, our guys kind of rallied around each other, and down 2-1, we didn't bat an eye. It was a bullpen game, Game 4, and we beat Cease that day. In Game 5, Darvish threw a heck of a ball game. But you just saw that street fight come out in us and continue through the postseason.
It's continued through the offseason. You got guys that just are not backing down. You guys are wearing the target that you now have. We're in Vegas. Chris Young's up on the stage with Mookie Betts, and he's like, Mookie, you got all these rings, all these accolades. What do you say to all these players in the crowd that have never won a single world championship? And he goes, well, you have to wait 7 years, but then you'll finally get another chance to win a World Series. You got Joe Kelly making comments on the New York Yankees. Like, you guys know you're great. Is the goal now not just to win another one, but do you have the feeling that this is a dynasty, that you are like about to begin a dynasty with the Dodgers?
We feel that way, and I know Andrew's talked a lot about he wants it to be the golden era of the Dodgers, which the Dodgers have had a lot of great eras. You want it to be a place that people want to come to, and obviously Blake Snell said that this is the one place on earth he wanted to be. I think to your point, Greg, it's the one thing to show some confidence in yourself, your team, and the thing that I don't mind about our guys, because they back it up with hard work. And I think that, being a champion and doing it what Michael Jordan did over the years, or what Kobe did, or what Magic or Larry Bird, those guys backed it up with a lot of hard work, and I know that our guys will do that.
So speaking of Mookie, Dave, you came out right at the end of the season and said, hey, Mookie's going back into the infield. Walk us through what the thought process there? What does that mean? Does he go back to second base? Does he go back to short? Where is this?
Yeah, Danny, I think that the landscape of the roster, and obviously I think it starts with Tommy Edman. You know, we locked Tommy Edman up, and he's a guy that can play. He can play shortstop. He can go to center field, go to second base, and obviously Mookie. We see here Mookie playing shortstop, and you know, last year he just kind of came to us out of the blue, and we talked to Mookie in spring training and said, "Hey, man, would you be willing to come from right field to play shortstop, and we're going to slide Gavin Lux over to second base?" And he didn't bat an eye and got to the ball. Feet worked well. The change in arm action, the slots, that's what kind of checked him up at times. But I think right now, being able to kick Edman back out to center field, having Lux there at second base, and then Mookie there, we feel good about it, given Mookie would have an entire off-season to prepare mentally, physically, and the entire off-season.
Pitching now, obviously that was position player wise, you've loaded. I know you were thin through the playoffs, but now have you got the guys bought into a 6-man rotation? You talked about Shohei making it wire to wire. Glass now never thrown over 130. Are the guys kind of getting bought in, and is a 6-man rotation something that we're going to see?
I think that, you know, once Shohei gets back, I think that you know that that's going to be 6-man or 6-day. And then Yoshinobu, I think we did a great job keeping him on his schedule. I think the guy we just signed might have a problem with it, Blake Snell, you know, as far as kind of what he's used to. So obviously we're going to have some conversations, because I think it's just, to your point, Jake, guys have bought into, you know what, hey, 28 starts versus 31 starts, it's not that big of a deal, and that extra rest will keep you frisky throughout October. And I do think that we've had enough of a sample size from certain guys that they felt stronger going into the season. And we get Tyler Glass now back, so I think giving him extra days at times will also help. So I think that kind of who we have will line that up.
Remember there was a day when only the Dodgers would offer $700 million to a player?
Crazy.
I mean,
right?
In this bananas? I asked him this question, and both of them, did you ever think there'd be a day in your baseball life that one player would get a 15-year contract for $765 million? Did you ever think that would be?
Absolutely not. I thought the contract Alex Rodriguez signed, you know, for whatever that was, I thought that's just bananas, and no one's ever going to do that, and Alex, you know, deserved it. But where we're at right now, it's mind-blowing. But you know that's good for the player. It's good for it's showing that the game is thriving, so that's good for all of us, right?
Yep. Let me tell you who was thriving. You dancing in center field with Ice Cube. Did you
I know they don't have that. I hope you guys don't have that.
Hey, Roberts, you're a pure joy, man. The Dodgers, they got a good one in you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the World Series.
Pete, good to be back on stage with you, man.
Absolutely.
My guy.
And oh, by the way, Kike was right.
Thank you.
Kike was right.
Thank you.
選手間の動きが活発になるウィンターミーティング。ソト選手に続き注目選手の契約は決まるのでしょうか。ロバーツ監督についてはキケヘルナンデス選手が言った通り、監督として殿堂入りしてほしいですね。ローテーションは今年の先発投手陣の怪我などがあり、6人で回し1年間フル稼働してもらいたいです。ドジャースは次狙う選手は誰なのでしょうか。楽しみな話題です。